Something I've seen a lot of out in the world right now, and there's a specific news story out. Not that I'm like, Mr. News guy. I used to be. Actually, I hardly read the news anymore, but there's specific things that come up. They're recurring themes I just want to talk about very quickly, and it's about really defending the victim. Okay, there's a time and a place in the world where we need to defend people who are truly powerless. But what people are being told and fed right now is that they're powerless when they're actually not. And it's very easy to fall into this mentality of, oh, I'm a victim, poor me, it's everybody else's fault, it's everybody else's fault who has money, it's everybody else's fault who is in this particular situation and that thing. And you know what the thing is that we've all been a victim at some point in our lives, which is why we're even prone to the idea of a victim mentality. We've all been powerless, we've all been a child, right? If you're a grown adult, well, you've been a child. Every single person that's watching this has been a child and by default has been a victim because you have been powerless in certain situations. And there have been injustices in your life, and that's not okay. And that's not okay that those injustices have been great, sometimes systemic, sometimes at the structural governmental level, sometimes all the way down to the family level. But injustices are injustices, and we all have them. And by telling people they're a victim, that is not helping them. Okay, because the problem is that we carry that mentality of being a victim into other areas of our life when we're not actually a victim. And then we actually operate out of powerlessness, and we start to look for other people to bail us out, to take responsibility for our lives, to take responsibility for our own decisions, for things that we engage with that have consequences. And if we're not taking responsibility for our lives, then we're just offloading our consequences onto other people and asking for a handout or asking for people to literally take up our responsibility, maybe for our lack of boundaries, our lack of whatever, and it becomes a problem and the cycle continues. You just pass it on to somebody else. It's blame shifting, it's responsibility shifting, it's all these other things. Now, here's the thing. For example, if you go to a country that's in poverty, there are times that a country in poverty really genuinely needs like a handout. Like, you look at certain natural disasters in the world where country is faced with a natural disaster, there's people in poverty and they need like you to hand food. Like that is a real thing. Powerless people, they need support, acute, like in that moment, they need that support. But over the long term, the support that those people need is not more handouts. The support that they need is a hand up. The support that they need is ways to open up their eyes, get vision, catch vision for themselves, start to see how long-term growth and sustainability requires like commitment to maybe short-term costs. And so for that benefit of the long-term future, generational change, like they need something different. And I'm sharing this message because it is really potentially destructive to people to tell them subconsciously that they're a victim. It's very destructive. Like, you need help, you're powerless, you need my help, you need somebody to send you money, you need somebody to do all this stuff. And it's like, actually, you need to be empowered to see opportunity, to make changes to your life, to recognize that it doesn't have to be the way that it is, that it might be hard. And that I need to validate that it might be hard. And there's a different way. That's what you really need. And I feel like somebody watching just needs that reminder right now, because what you're being fed, what you're choosing, here's the key, what you're choosing to feed yourself with, not just in your mouth, with your eyes and ears, what you're choosing to feed yourself with is not helping you. It's just affirming a mentality that you might have had for a long time that is not helping you. What you actually need to see is the choice you have in every situation. What you actually need to see is the choices you can make right now about your situation, okay? Just because you look at somebody and you see, oh, they might have the X, Y, and Z perfect life, they had this privilege, they had that thing, that might be accurate and it might not be. In other words, question those assumptions, okay? Because everybody has their own injustices. Everybody has their own story. And so when we can, rather than kind of say, oh, well, that person must have had it this way, so it's got to be easy for them. How about, what if it wasn't? What if they actually had to make some changes? What if they actually had to make some choices? What if it was not easy? And what if some of the people that you're paying attention to haven't had that realization yet? What if some of the people that are talking with you, that you're learning from and being fed from, right, whether it's social media or otherwise, haven't had that realization yet? That's just something for you to think about, okay? I'm like adamant about this. I really feel like people need to know that you don't have to stay in a victim mentality just because you've been a victim in your past. And people need to know that you have a choice, and that choice is how you make change happen, okay? So recognize in any situation that you have a choice, all right? In any situation, you have a choice, and that choice is exactly how we make change happen. Hope that helps you today.